I earned my degree online at Arizona State University. I chose to get my degree at ASU because I knew that I'd get a quality education, they were recognized for excellence, and that I would be prepared for the workforce upon graduating. To be associated with ASU, both as a student and alum, it makes me extremely proud, and having experienced the program, I know now that I'm set up for success. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Hour 2, Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Top 10 moments of this LSU baseball season, as I see it, in 15 minutes. Get your reaction to some of that as well. But I want to start with the New Orleans Saints here. There's been a little bit of Saints news over the last 72 hours, and we just haven't gotten to it because there's a lot of LSU baseball to talk about. So I want to get into a little bit of it here with the news that the Saints added a cornerback 3 days ago, over the weekend. And it's an interesting story because Jaden Price comes from the FCS and comes from the UFL. The saying goes, like, in the NFL, if you can play, they'll find you. Like, it's easy if you're a 5-star recruit and you go to play at Bama and you're an All-American, like, they'll find you there. But if you're really good, like, they'll find you. And I'm not here telling you that I think Jaden Price is going to be an All-Pro, but he is getting opportunities. He was not drafted in 2024. The Falcons signed him. They released him right before the season started, and he went out and he played great in the UFL for the Arlington Renegades, of course. I know all of you are well-versed in your UFL teams, but played for the Arlington Renegades and had a good year. Started all 10 games. I didn't know it was 10 games either, but it was a spring football. Had 13 passes broken up, which led the UFL. And one thing that I also liked, he led the team with kick returns. So that shows me a guy that's a pretty good athlete, and he had some good ball skills because he got his hands on the ball 13 times. Now, I'm not here to scout Jalen Price or tell you whether or not he's going to make the team, but I do think it is worth talking about the Saints at cornerback. Because for the last, let's call it 6 years, the Saints have put out really good corners. Lattimore, when healthy, all-pro type player. Adebo was absolutely a hit in the draft. And you had C.D. Deuce for a minute there, who was a good player. Say what you will about loving his personality or not liking his personality or not liking what he was traded for, whatever. Like, he was a good player. And that was a strength under Dennis Allen. Like, every coach has something to hang his hat on. And while I don't want to reduce Dennis Allen down to just a good evaluator of corners, he's a great defensive coach and defensive mind. But one of the things that he did very well, even as a head coach, was draft, develop, and play DBs, specifically corners. And that's why I still have hopes that Alontae Taylor and Kool-Aid McKinstry are really good players because Dennis Allen handpicked them. Now, he won't be here to develop them moving forward, but he did handpick them, which gives me confidence that they've got real ability. Now, that doesn't say anything about this signing because Dennis Allen didn't have anything to do with it. But I do believe that it is fair to look at the Saints at cornerback right now and go, how much confidence we got here? And I could listen to someone who says a lot. Like, I think these guys are really talented. And I could listen to, like, this is a huge step down from Lattimore and Adebo. We'll see in time. But what can't be argued is that Alontae Taylor and Kool-Aid McKinstry and Price and what they've got on the field entering training camp is very young. It's young and it's cheap. You dealt Lattimore in his big contract. you haven't gone out and signed a big money corner. You've got affordable young assets, and that's the crux of everything I've been talking about with the Saints for the last year and a half. So if they are hits and you can get these guys to the field and they do produce, and I'm not even telling you that Price is going to make the team. He probably, the odds are he won't. He's an undrafted player who was cut by the Falcons and played in the UFL. But I like some of the things that I see on his resume, from the athleticism, the ball skills, the fact that he was picked up quickly after the draft, and the Saints have room there to improve and get better. And I'm all for taking on these young players that have some upside. Like, if you want to go get Asante Samuel on a 1-year deal, like, that's good. That's fine. You got some money to spend. Like, I'm fine with that. He's got a little bit of size, and he's a veteran, and he can help you and help bring these guys along. But for the first time in better than half a decade, you have big questions at corner. And it's one of the things that I'll be watching very, very closely. Like, quarterback's going to steal the show. How the offensive line actually gels is going to steal the show. But I think probably after that, I'm looking at corner. Because, like, the guys you're banking on being on the next good Saints team are on this team. I don't think you're banking on Tyrann Mathieu being on the next good Saints team. I don't think you're banking on Cam Jordan being on the next great Saints team. Same thing probably said for Mario Davis. Certainly Taysom Hill. Maybe even Alvin Kamara. I hope not, but maybe even Alvin Kamara. Probably not Foster Moreau. Like, you've moved on from Ryan Ramczyk and Derek Carr's gone. And, like, I'm looking at players that could be on the next really good Saints team. And at corner, you may have that. And so how those guys play really matters. Really matters. And so I'm fascinated by how that situation gels, and I can't go into it with the confidence I did with Dennis Allen making the calls back there. Like, there are very few things Saints fans are going to be able to step back and go, yeah, he was good at that. Like, very few. I understand the animus, and I understand the feeling on a new regime coming in. But if you're going to denigrate Dennis Allen for his defensive back play, like, that's probably a bridge too far. So now, can you pick up where he left off? Do you have the players and the coaching staff to make that happen? And, like, I'm giving Tyler Shook significant grace period here. And I'm giving Kellen Moore a little bit of grace period here. But, like, cornerback, I'm not really giving much grace. Like, if Alontae Taylor can't go out there this year and play really good football, like, the odds that he plays really good football, like, right after that, it's not very good. Like, you may just have missed on a guy that you were hoping was going to be a potential Pro Bowl corner that you took early in the draft. If Kool-Aid McKinstry goes out there this year in his first year really on the outside making plays as a corner, if he goes out there and is cooked, that's a red flag. But if those guys assume these new roles for the first time full-time this year, and you start to see, oh, there's some plays being made, like, you're starting to lay some foundation. Like, what a great possibility that lies between now and Christmas, where you could have a quarterback that's making strides, an offensive line that is completely solidified, and defensive backs that you know are the cornerstones of the outside of your defense moving forward. Like, those three positions, and wide receiver, which I think you're one guy away from. I think you're a number one away from that. But, like, you know what Olave and Shaheed are, and they're pretty young and pretty cheap. But the other three positions I mentioned, like, you could have some real solid foundations for the rest of the team right there. You got work to do on the defensive line. You got work to do, I think, at safety. You got work to do at linebacker. You don't know what you have beyond Kamara at running back. But I think that offensive line, Shook, and corner are spots that I'm looking at for big jumps this year. Quarterback's asking a lot, but you're living on a hope there. And I think that's exciting. But the other two, you would really be disappointed if you didn't get the level of play that you expect at this point in the calendar. So I don't know if Price is going to make the team or not. I just wanted to mention that he joins a young room It's got some talented guys. This guy, when given the opportunity to go play professionally, say what you will about the UFL, I'm not an expert on how great a level of play that is. There have certainly been some guys who come from that level that have helped teams. I'm not asking for the Pro Bowl. I may be asking for a special teamer who can come in and play slot corner, come in and play nickel. They need those defensive backs to step up this year for that defense to get back to getting close to the level they were at under Dennis Allen and way better than this past year where it was one of the worst defenses in the league. So there's my look at the New Orleans Saints here to crank up our number 2. Let's pause. We'll come back. I've got the top 10 moments of the LSU National Championship baseball season coming up next. Give some thought to who you think or what moments you think qualify for that, and we'll run through those coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show. This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
All right, let's get into a little trip. It's a short memory lane, but we'll get down the lane of the memory of this 2025 National Championship team. I've got the top 10 moments. I intentionally excluded like the double play to win the national championship. Like, yeah, that's a match. Like the single Curiel smoked up the middle in game 2 of the national championship. Like, yeah, in the most important game, every little play feels a lot more important than anything that happened in March. But I included some College World Series, certainly. I don't have any from the final game. I think that kind of goes without saying. So let me get into this and go through my favorite top 10 moments of this LSU baseball season as it finished with a national championship. Number 10, cool thing that many people may have forgotten about. Not necessarily a game that had a lot of drama. LSU played North Alabama back in February. And both Pearsons hit a home run in that game. LSU hit 6 in the game, but Josh and John each homered. It was the first time brothers had homered in the same game since Clay and Will Harris in 2005. The Jordan brothers didn't quite get that done when they were on the same team back in 2015, 16, 17? Bryce missed one of those years, but yeah, the Pearsons, home runs in the same game. That's my number 10 moment of this season. Number 9, maybe this was because I was there in person and it just felt like a big deal. I don't think a lot of people would immediately point to this, but Mississippi State knocked Cade Anderson around in game 1 of that series. And he gave up 3 home runs in the first 4 innings. He didn't make it out of the 5th. They scored in every inning against him. Mississippi State led the first game of that series 6-1 over LSU at the box. And then over the course of 3 hitters, Daniel Dickinson hit a 3-run homer into the left field seats. And then after Josh Pearson walked, Stephen Milam hit a home run to take the lead in that game. And LSU never trailed in that series again. And that just felt like a big moment early in the season when your ace faltered for 2 guys to come up with big 5 runs worth of homers over the course of 3 hitters. And so I thought that was a big moment in the season. That's number 9 on the list. A lot of folks may have forgotten about this one as well, all the way back to February for this one, the last day in February. LSU was in Frisco, Texas, and there's a little bit of an interesting twist to this one as well. They were in Frisco, Texas on the Friday game, and Kansas State gave LSU all the Tigers wanted there. And they actually had the winning run on first base in the game. And there was a double that was hit to left field by Chase Dardar, LSU commitment, who had taken Cade Anderson deep earlier in the game in Frisco. And he hits a double to left field. Josh Pearson picks up the ball, gets it into Stephen Milam. Milam throws out the winning run in the bottom of the 9th at home plate via the relay. And then Dardar's on second base, ground ball to the right side. Daniel Dickinson makes a diving stab and gets the runner at first base to extend that game. LSU would score 3 in the 10th and win it. But Kansas State had the winning run coming home from third base thanks to a big hit from a future Tiger. And LSU got those 2 outs and won the game. I thought that was a really cool defensive moment in Frisco. That's number 8 moment of the season. Number 7, College Station, Texas. Game 2 of a doubleheader on Saturday. Anthony Ianson, 14 strikeouts. Complete game. beats Texas A&M 2-1 in a sensational pitching performance that I think kind of solidified Ianson as a dominant number 2 in the sport. You go to College Station, you're facing Laviolette, you're facing Caden Sorrell, you're facing all those guys that have been great hitters for Texas A&M for a couple of seasons, and Ianson just shut him down in a complete game effort that was like 108 pitches, I think, to win game 2. And it was just after you had lost game 1 of the doubleheader with Anderson on the mound. You lost 2-1. LSU didn't do a lot offensively in that game against A&M and beat them 3-1 behind Ianson. So Iason's complete game was awesome. Number 7 moment. Number 6 moment, complete game shutout. Cade Anderson, 135 pitches against Kyson Witherspoon. That game on a Friday night in chilly Norman was billed as 2 potential first-round picks at that point. And we very much feel like they both are. Witherspoon was a more draftable prospect that day before the game. Now, Anderson, more draftable prospect after the course of the next probably 10 weeks or so of the season. But Anderson just dominated Oklahoma from start to finish. Sooners couldn't score a run. It was the first complete shutout that anybody at LSU had thrown in 2 seasons. And it was an awesome effort that really solidified Anderson as a true ace in the Southeastern Conference. And those 2 outings were really, really strong from those 2 dudes. Number 5 on this list, you could argue probably needs to be a little closer to number 1, but I'll put it at number 5 because the rest is a lot of postseason stuff. Jared Jones walk-off at 1:17 a.m. against Tennessee. You remember that LSU, that was the game they faced Liam Doyle. The game got delayed until 9 o'clock at night. LSU didn't score in the first 8 innings of the game. They were trailing 3-0 entering the 9th. Ground ball to third base, and Tennessee has a third baseman over there who couldn't find it. And he made a throwing error, and then they hit him a ball, and he made another error, and LSU all of a sudden kind of had something cooking. And with 1 out, you had the bottom of the order coming up with Braswell, and Jay Johnson was like, I just can't put him up there against Nate Snead, so we're going to have to go to the bench. Well, we've already used our left-handed pinch hitters and Ashton Larson and Josh Pearson. Well, we got to go to Dalton Beck. And he went to Dalton Beck, who lined it up the middle off of Nate Snead, one of the best relievers in college baseball, to keep the inning going. Chris Stanfield popped up, and then Derek Curiel comes up. 2 outs, tying run on second base, singles to right field to set up Jones, who hits it over the batter's eye at 1:17 a.m. to win it. LSU rallies for 6 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning to beat Tennessee in incredible fashion. That's my number 5 moment of the year. Number 4, West Virginia was making things tough on Cade Anderson. They were getting some infield hits. They were scraping some runs together. And LSU just led 2-1, I believe, maybe 3-1 in that game. 3-1 in that game on Saturday, the first game of the Super. The Tigers loaded the bases. West Virginia had gone to the bullpen. They took Griffin Kern out. They put a freshman in Glasscock. He couldn't get out, so they went to another reliever, and Stephen Milam hits a grand slam down the right field line as a right-handed hitter, bang, into the seats, and that's a grand slam to put LSU up by 6 runs, and LSU was off and running in that game. You were going to get another grand slam from Josh Pearson an inning later, but I thought the grand slam from Stephen Milam to really separate in game 1 with Anderson on the mound was a big, big swing for this team, so I'll give that number 4. Number 3 is one that I just don't think can be overstated. I think it was as important a play as there was in LSU's season. And it came in Monday of the regional. You know that Little Rock beat LSU 10-4 on Sunday, and Little Rock jumps out to a 5-run lead in the 4th inning of the Monday game, and the bases are loaded, and Ethan Fry digs in. And if Ethan Fry pops up to right field here, you are down 5-1 at a minimum going to the 5th inning of that game on Monday. And being in the box that night, like, I could sense a little bit of tension. It wasn't full-blown panic, but there was tension in the air, like, is this team about to lose to Little Rock again? They got crushed last night. They're losing by 4 today. Like, what are we doing here? And you needed someone to step up and get the hit. And Fry pumps a double into the right center field gap, and it scores 3 runs. And you didn't even score again in that inning. But you cut it to 5-4. And at 5-4 in the 5th inning, you're sitting at the box going, this is still Little Rock. Evans is pitching. He looks good. Like, this is going to be fine. And it took all the tension out of the building on that Monday night. So to me, yes, you scored one in the 6th to tie it, scored one in the 7th, scored one in the 8th to take the lead, scored 3 in the 9th to take control and win the game. But the swing from Fry to take all the tension out of the Alec Bach air was a big deal. So give me Ethan Fry at number 3. Number 2, I've got Cade Anderson against Coastal getting that final out, tying runs on first base. He issued a 3-1 walk with the changeup, and you bring the tying run to the plate the winning run, the go-ahead run to the plate in the 9th inning, and Cade's working, and gets the fly ball to right field to end it. But that's the complete game performance. It'll be Cade Anderson's last pitch at the college level, and it was sensational. It's a legendary performance, one we'll talk about as long as we talk about LSU baseball. You'll talk about Laxton, you'll talk about Floyd, you'll talk about Skeens Louder, and you will certainly talk about Cade Anderson, complete game shutout of Coastal Carolina. That's moment number 2, and you're going, how could you get any better than that if you're not going to include the national championship game on Sunday? Well, the 9th inning against Arkansas, in that 5 minutes where Aloy doesn't turn the double play, and then Davalon misplays the ball in left, and then Jones walks it off with the hit. Like, all of that wrapped into one felt like the biggest deal. Because if you're an LSU fan, like, I'm going to guess, because I am one, and I'm speaking for myself, but I feel like I'm kind of simpatico with y'all in this way. Once you got over the Arkansas hurdle, it just wasn't quite as scary to me. Now, that may be stupid to say, because the way that Fluky pitched on Saturday for Coastal, shutting LSU down and pitching as well as he did, maybe it's foolish of me to think that Arkansas was a bigger threat, considering they had to beat LSU twice. But they just scared me more. I told you last Thursday and Friday and Saturday from Omaha, like, I don't think Coastal's going to score very much, because I don't think their offense is great. LSU's pitching is rested. Like, that's going to be fine. If Arkansas is around, and even if you got to throw Anderson on Thursday, he probably beats them. But maybe he doesn't, and your season's over. And if he does, you don't have Anderson for Coastal. You needed to get that thing done on Wednesday. And Arkansas had the lead. The 2-run single from Thomas off Myers felt like it. You go down 2, you're probably not coming back from that in the bottom of the 9th. But that comeback felt like the one that went, all right, Arkansas is gone. I got my pitching. It's LSU versus Coastal, and I just don't know if anybody is going to be really comfortable picking Coastal to beat LSU in that spot. So to me, the 9th inning, Aloy's misplay, Davalon's misplay, Jones's single, that is the seminal moment for this national championship team that set up a very winnable weekend against Coastal. So again, I'll go 10 through 1, kind of give you my thoughts on it one more time. Pearson, both Pearsons homer in a game against North Alabama. Very cool deal. Hadn't happened since 2005. Dickinson and Milam homering against Mississippi State in the same inning for 5 runs, take control of that series. The relay on defense against Chase Dardar and Kansas State to keep that game rolling in Frisco. Anthony Ianson, awesome performance in College Station, complete game. Cade Anderson, complete game shutout on 135 pitches at Oklahoma's number 6. Jared Jones, walk-off against the Vols, number 5. Stephen Milam, grand slam in the Super Regional to break it open in Game 1 is number 4. Number 3, Ethan Fry, 3-run double against Little Rock in the Monday Regional Final. Cade Anderson, shutout. Coastal Carolina Chanticleers in Game 1 is number 2. In the 9th inning against Arkansas, my number 1 moment of the season in 2025. Beck, you watched a lot of those. Are any of those completely out of whack?
No, I don't think so. I would. I don't know if there's really any. Yeah, I don't really know if there's any ones that.
Kason Evans, 9 strikeouts in a row against Little Rock.
Yeah, that was really good.
Kason Evans in the restart. Jared Jones, 3-run homer against UCLA to take the lead.
Yes.
After you give up 3 runs in the first inning, he comes back and hits a homer to give you a 4-3 lead. Big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a bigger moment than the Pearsons hitting.
That's just
home runs.
cool. That's really cool, but I don't know that it's.
I wanted to I could have just done the 10 moments of Omaha. I tried to get more in, and LSU tacked onto that. Plus, that Jones home run. No, that was at night. That was not. That was before the restart. The restart came when Evans pitched. But I felt like it was worth mentioning that those 2 guys did that. So yeah. I could come up. Stephen Milam's sliding play against UCLA was a sensational effort. Dickinson doing what he did with a broken hand is an incredible moment. I tried to do a little bit more with the entirety of the season. Jared Jones at number 5, is that against Tennessee, the walk-off homer over the batter's eye at 1 o'clock in the morning, was that not high enough?
No, that's definitely high enough. I think if you could combine one moment, just all the 1 a.m. wins.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy. The fact that LSU had all that happen, and then of course, the weather delays is just another story. But yeah, the 1 a.m. victory is definitely one of the best moments for sure.
One of my favorite things about baseball, you'll know this, and I'll certainly talk about it for opening day next year. I just love the journey. I love how there's so many twists and turns, and it's winding, and you don't really know, and you're always trying to find the next thing with the team. And we were always kind of looking for, like, what's the Achilles heel? And if you were listening an hour ago when I talked to Koki, he was like, I just kind of felt like the bullpen would eventually falter. I kind of felt like the offense would go through a 2-day skid, and you could argue they did go through a 2-day skid against Coastal. They weren't great. They had 17 at bats, 9 innings on Sunday and 8 at bats on Saturday, and they scored 6 runs. So they weren't great, but the pitching was so good that it didn't matter, and that's why baseball is such an amazing sport. So that's my thoughts. If you think I screwed that up big time, shoot me if you go to the Bayou Ford chat, I won't see it because I got a fried computer over here. But check that out on Twitter, and I'm going to write a piece about it with a little more detail on LouisianaSports.net coming up this afternoon. Step aside, come back with more. Half an hour to go on a Wednesday edition of The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge, genesisofbatonrouge.com. Every single model, all of them, highest end, entry level, you name it, all of them, it applies. IIHA top safety picks. Top safety picks. Some of them top safety picks plus. If safety is important to you, then go ahead and go buy Genesis for your next car buying opportunity. You'll see the style, the comfort, all the bells and whistles. You'll experience the wonderful brand ambassadors and how they treat you when you go. You'll see the first-rate facility, the cleanest service aisle I've ever seen. All that's very obvious, but you won't know about the safety unless you just trust those that test that and take it very seriously. The IIHA certainly does that, and Genesis line has been recognized all the way through. So if you're in the market for a new vehicle, check them out, Airline at Piku. Sedan, got you covered. SUV, got you covered. Pricing on the website, all there. Photographs too, and safety is a big, big deal at Genesis. Go by and see him, Airline at Piku. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge. You can find him online at genesisofbatonrouge.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Annie texted in, had a good suggestion. I remember it. I didn't have time to look it up because he just sent it. But Ashton Larson hit a pinch hit homer. He said it was against Bama. I remember it. It was into the right field seats, and he hadn't gotten a hit in a month when he went up there. And I was covering that game. It was probably I don't know. Was it Bama? Yeah, because I covered the Thursday game. Me, my dad, and Myers went to the Friday game for his first game, and then I went to the beach on Saturday. And that was the last game of that series, and Shores got knocked around in the last one of that series. So if that would make sense if it was Thursday. And I did post-game interviews, so that makes sense. It would have been the first game against Bama. That's one that could certainly make the list.
It was game one there.
Yep. That was a huge. And Jay
Wait, no, it's not.
No, it's not. It's not Bama.
No, well, at least it wasn't Thursday. Or wait.
It would have had to have been Thursday if it was Bama, because Friday, me and my dad and Myers.
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, it was Larson.
Okay.
Yeah, Thursday. Yeah.
Okay. So that was a good one. I remember that because LSU was down and he went to Larson, who hadn't gotten a hit in a month.
They're down 5-1. Yeah,
hadn't gotten a hit since like February 17th, like opening day, and he crushed one into the right center field seats. I may amend my top moments and put that one in. That was a big swing for sure. I want to play a couple of dumb games back. Are you down for that?
All right.
First dumb game, loudest ovation at the championship celebration tonight, outside of Jay Johnson, for the players. Because if they do it like they did 2 years ago, every player will walk in from right field.
Yeah.
Who gets the loudest ovation?
I would say Kate Anderson probably.
He's one of the two picks. It's Anderson or Josh Pearson.
Or Josh
Pearson gets massive ovations. He was getting massive ovations in Omaha.
Yeah, that was whenever Jake Brown had that interview before they went, and he said that's the loudest I've ever heard a crowd after a 3-pitch strikeout.
I mean, Dickinson will get a big round of applause. Jared Jones, Ianson will get a huge round of applause. Curiel will get huge round, like all the guys who started and played a ton. Kason Evans.
If Derek Curiel's dog Bo went out, he would probably get the loudest ovation. Honestly,
so I didn't watch any of the games on TV.
Yeah,
obviously,
so you didn't see that.
I didn't see how much Bo exposure there was.
It was a lot.
I'm told it was a significant amount.
A very large. It wasn't as much as Kim Mulkey and Kramer Robertson, but it was a lot.
I did not catch a lot of that. But I would say it's Anderson and Josh Pearson. Braswell will get a huge ovation as well. And all those guys just very well. Shores should get a huge ovation. So that'll be good. Here's the next really dumb game. I want you to think about this. So is $100 important to you?
Yeah.
Okay. That was kind of muted. How about $200?
Yes.
That's important. Okay. So if I tell you, you have to tell me from this point forward, how many national championships is Jay Johnson going to win at LSU? And for everyone that you're off, you owe $200.
Oh, my. That's tough.
So how many moving forward does he win?
I mean, okay, so I think, how old is Jay?
He's almost 50.
He's almost 50? Okay. Let's assume that he's got, he's not going anywhere.
No, he's going to be the coach here.
He's going to be the coach here, so he could foreseeably be the coach here for another 15 years.
I think 15 is a fair number to base your guessing off of.
So we got 15 more years with Jay Johnson. He's won 2 and 4. I don't think he's going to keep winning 2 every 4 years, but it's not all the realm of possibility. But man, I'll say 15 years. I'll go 4.
4.
In 15 years.
He would pass Skip.
I mean, he's got 2 and 4.
He does have 2 and 4.
I'm not saying, like I said, I don't think he's going to win. I don't think he's going to keep winning 2 every 4 years. But even if he just wins 4 the next 15 years, that's still how well he's already done so far. I mean,
Hey, look, you're not out of bounds there. You're really not. I try to sit here and think about this without just purple and gold draped all over me.
Yeah.
Because going 8 out of 9 is preposterous.
It is.
It's statistically almost impossible in baseball to win 8 of 9 finals. But LSU's done that somehow. And so I try to think about Mike Martin. I try to think about Dave Van Horn. I try to think about Kevin O'Sullivan. He's got 1. I try to think about Dan McDonald and Jim Schlossnagle, who have combined probably been 6 or 7 times, have none. I try to think about Dave Van Horn, like I just said. Tim Corrigan's got 2 and all those great teams he's had. He's been there for over 20 years. Paul Maneri got 1 at LSU. It is very hard to win the whole thing. And LSU seems to do it. Well, they don't. Not seems to. There's nothing seems to about it. They just do it more than everybody else. The rules are slanted to benefit LSU. The sport is becoming more and more regional. They're going to get more and more kids out of California. But I think if you made me bet that, I would bet 2. And I feel like getting 2 more is incredible.
It is.
Ask an Arkansas fan about that. About if you're going to win 2 of the next 15.
They would, there's just...
Ask a Mississippi State fan about that. You know how many good teams they've had? You know how much money they spent on that stadium? They got there 1 time. I feel like I would bet 2, total of 4, and I would let that rest.
It's risky, yeah. I think my choice of 4 is very risky because, look, I mean, it's not out. There's a wide range of possibilities. I mean, he could win 4 or 5, or he could win none. He could. I mean,
that possibility absolutely exists.
Yeah, I mean, he could win.
I would bet against none.
No, I would too. But I could see them making it to Omaha. 15 more years. I would. Another interesting thought would be how many times they're going to make it to Omaha. They may not win every time, but how many times? I mean, 15 years.
I would bet. I'd bet 9.
I would say at least 7 or 8, maybe, and 9 probably. So then you're looking at 8 chances or 9 chances, and all you've got to do is win a couple more. I mean, 4 out of 9 would be absurd, but it's really hard.
4 out of 9 is not even. I mean, 4 out of 9 trips because LSU's been now to Omaha 20 times. They've won. That is
8
out of 20 is still a massive hit rate.
Yes.
Just a massive hit rate. It's just, and I was thinking about this. I got a lot of time to think when I'm by myself, like basically the entire time in Omaha, and think about college baseball and think about like legacies and think about LSU's footprint up there and think about what the program has accomplished over 20 years. It's really over 40 years, 20 trips. It's really crazy. And I try, not because I like need to prove it to myself, but I think it's reasonable as a someone who's here to give an opinion that needs to be based in reality and not just sit here and bang the gavel and say LSU's the best, Jay's getting 7, suck it, or like I mean it's just I don't need to do that. I'm trying to like be reasonable about this. What LSU has done is not realistic.
No, it's not.
It's just not. And it's going to get ramped up, and you're still dealing with Vitello, and you're dealing with Schlossnagel, and you're dealing with now Brian O'Connor's next door, and you're dealing with O'Sullivan, and Wes Johnson's had some good teams over there, and I'm trying not to just be beholden to like, oh, well, let's just get it done next year. We'll do it the next year. And Anderson's gone, Ianson's gone. Just the next 2 guys are going to be great. Like, it's got to be harder than that. It just doesn't feel harder than that in Baton Rouge. It just doesn't. But it was there's your stupid games.
Yeah, and I think also just thinking about, after 23 and then 24, of course, after that, and then this going into this year, people were wondering, okay, can Jay Johnson win? Can he really win without 2 of the best players in LSU's history? And he showed this. I think the reason, I'm just thinking about it now, I think 4 for me is realistic because of he proved he could do it this year, and he didn't. He did have a possible number 1 overall pick at McKay.
He overhauled the 23 roster.
He did,
completely.
and so the way he did that, just to me, I can't see him not just continuing to do that. Like, what's stopping him from doing that? I mean, like you did mention some of those guys, and then there are a couple of other really good coaches that you're going to have to worry about for the next 15 years. But still, it just seems like he's kind of maybe getting into that like Nick Saban type coaching ability at LSU that Nick Saban did at Alabama, where you're just every year you're just going to expect them to make it.
Right, and that's where LSU expects to be in terms of just that kind of consistency. But I mean, if you just look at this team, like you got behind 5-1 to Little Rock.
Yeah. And
then you look at this team, and if Arkansas just catches the ball in the 9th inning, it changes the narrative completely. And for some reason,
it just keeps happening.
LSU DJ LeMahieu just gets the big hit in Game 1 against Texas, and Cressy just comes through in 2000 after Witten and Barbier hit home runs, and they just. Only one time has Jake Slaughter been called out for interference, and every other time the break goes LSU's way. The stats and the probability doesn't line up.
It doesn't.
I don't care. I like it.
Yeah.
So we'll go in there tonight and celebrate this team. 7 o'clock, the gates will open, and 8 o'clock, they'll get started from the box. We'll come back and close things out. It's a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show. This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
We've got our Hunt on LSU YouTube channel for all your LSU football needs, and I did a segment to start the show today that talked about Bryson Beaver and how the LSU needed to keep him from committing to Oregon and try to get him on campus for a visit. And that segment was done about 2 hours and 50 minutes ago, and it is now dated because Bryson Beaver just committed to the Oregon Ducks. So LSU is just very likely not going to get a high school quarterback in this class. And that's just a trouble spot. I mean, it just is. You don't have enough young quarterbacks. Your quarterback room after this year is likely to be very, very low on numbers. And I just think it's hard to replenish that position from the portal for depth. For starter, not tough. You go get the guy. But your numbers need to be there. And freshmen provide numbers because they don't expect to play. So I'll talk about it on tomorrow's show, I'm sure. But that's the news that just came across the wire 5 minutes ago that Bryson Beaver is committed to Oregon. So LSU, I don't know where they're going to turn for a high school quarterback, if there is one to turn to. Probably get somebody on tomorrow to talk about it, but not great for the Tigers at this point. Let's do take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Just take it.
Light on calories, full on flavor. It's Flight by Yingling, the oldest brewery in America. Yingling's been doing this for 6 generations. That's a lot of beer knowledge in the Yingling family. Check out Flight by Yingling, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, perfect summer beer. Flight by Yingling.
All right, first one here. We talked about a little bit earlier with Paul Skeens and Jacob Mizorowski. Of course, Mizorowski was committed to LSU, and they could have theoretically pitched on the same team. Well, they pitched today, and Paul Skeens, not good, Hunt. 4 innings, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. That's only his second start this year with giving up more than 4 runs. Mizorowski, though, 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. His ERA on the season, 1.13. He's only started a couple of games already so far this season, but Mizorowski will have a comparable career overall to Skeens. Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it right now. It's early. Mizorowski, a lot of fireballers that come in and eventually kind of cool off. Skeens hasn't done that, but I'm not betting against him. I'm just saying I'll take the sure thing with Skeens to this point.
All right, the NBA draft is tonight.
It is.
Hunt. Who will the Pelicans select is the question, of course. We've got some options here. Ace Bailey actually has been in the Twitters recently. He is projected to be the 3rd pick, but he says that the Pelicans are one of his destinations he would like to go to. Ace Bailey to the Pels. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave that. I don't think he's there at 7. The draft gets wonky.
It does. You never know.
The folks that
Sometimes
come in.
Anthony Bennett gets drafted
they
first.
They do.
Right?
Well, it's when you got a bad draft.
It's not happening this year.
It's not happening this year. It's just you never know what quite's going to unfold in the NBA draft. You got a lot of different opinions on foreign players, and you got draft rights being traded all over the place. So it's going to be wild and crazy. I'll defer to Jordan. Who you got tonight?
Honestly, Hunt, I don't even know, man. There's just so much he said, she said going on in the world. Like, oh, they're looking at Ace Bailey and all that. I don't know. I don't want Ace Bailey because it's like you're back at square one with the Birmingham stuff. Just give me Derek Queen and I'll be happy. Give me Derek Queen.
All right. You heard it from the Pelican Scoop guy.
There you go.
That's it?
That's it.
All right. For those that are headed out to the box tonight, remember, gates open at 7. Program starts at 8 o'clock. Bill Franquez, I'm sure, will be the MC. You'll hear from Jay Johnson. Some of the players. Should be a real festive occasion. And do not expect the updated Intimidator to be there. Like, if it's like 2 years ago, which I expect, you'll see this year's championship logo displayed on the Intimidator tonight. And then over time, they will get the updated 2025 title put on that to include it with the other 7. In any event, it should be an awesome night at the box, and I hope we get to do it a lot moving forward. Appreciate y'all for sticking with us today over the last couple of hours. Shout out to Koki Riley for joining us. If you missed any of today's show, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Just search Hunt Palmer Show, Hunt on LSU, Hunt on Saints. We appreciate y'all for getting our content in front of as many folks as possible. Shout out to Renaissance Homes and Pools for bringing you our Wednesday shows. We're back tomorrow, same time, same place. Matt will drive you home on AFR. It's coming up next. This has been the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.